Welcome to Ham Unleashed.
Unleashed.
All right, let's get it going.
Yeah, so the first post that we thought was interesting was a post from Hairbrained Official, and the post reads, "How have you overcome burnout?" Love that word, burnout, don't you guys?
Oh, goodness.
I get burnout thinking about it.
There's so many different forms of
thinking
burnout.
about burnout.
All right, so no matter how much you love what you do, hairdressing long hours, demanding transformations, and repetition can leave you feeling burnout. What has helped you regain your passion and reapply yourself to the craft? Learning something new, reconnecting with old friends, trying new techniques? Sound off in the comments. So what do you got? Leash, go first.
One comment that I saw that really resonated was Lee Trevino Hair. Shout out to you. "I got sober and took 6 weeks off. After I reset, I was intentional with all my relationships. I became a man of my word and treated everyone with kindness and respect. Now everything I do is worth something more than just hair." I think burnout comes from a place where you're just going to work, and when you're not passionate about what you're doing, like, it can really wreak havoc on your mental health, and you're not finding the value behind why you're doing what you're doing. So I feel like just finding a way to get back to that place of like, okay, like, this is what I'm doing, this is why I enjoy it. I feel like in any aspect of your life, not just like your career, like anything that you're doing, that can truly change your perspective on how you view things.
Yep. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Like, just like so much respect on that, because having the guts and like being able to identify that you're in this space where you really need to just step back and prioritize mental health or health in general or whatever, your life is looking like. I feel like that's like massive. So I just think that's super impressive.
I also feel like that is super relatable. I think that speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah.
On so many different levels. So
yeah, and it
shout
happens
out to him for sure.
Like, it happens a lot, and I feel like you gotta like, if you can recognize it and find a way to overcome it, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great example that not all burnout comes from within the salon. Sometimes it comes from activities or things you have going on in life outside of the salon.
Yeah.
That you need to like regroup and refocus, whether that's trying to get sober or taking care of a mental health issue or, getting more help at home with your kids. Like me.
Yeah.
Whew, burnout.
What do you
Whole
guys
nother level
got?
for me. I'll go next. So I thought one that was interesting, and it actually seems super real and relatable. Kylie Marie Hair, she posted, "Take a break from social media and just do hair because you enjoy it." Mm-hmm. I think social media burns out a lot of hairstylists.
Yeah.
I know just from interacting with a few of our own, talking to them and finding out like what burns them out. Like, they tell you, like, I am in the industry to do hair because I love hair. I'm not in the industry to be a content creator or a photographer. And now everything has changed so much, and all these standards are so high, and I go to work all day and see, however many clients I see a day, and then I have to go home at night when I'm trying to spend time with my family and find that balance to create content to post on social media so that I can stay relevant.
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
one
exhausting.
aspect.
I think there's a revolution happening with that. Like,
I think
the
so.
stylists are pissed.
Well, you know what? Talking on that, no, honestly, because after I heard one of our team members actually elaborated on the social media aspects and being a mom and how, like, it's just so annoying. This isn't I don't want to be a social media marketer. Like, I want to be a hairstylist. But then hearing another who is actually really good at social media, knows her stuff. It comes easy to her. She has no kids at home. And her thing was, I can't stand the competitiveness of social media because everything is so fake. You see these artists up there posting pictures that have filters and everything's just fake. And she's like, and it just is really frustrating.
I know, it's difficult. I think that we do prioritize social media marketing, and we do encourage our team to be involved in it, but also it is difficult to navigate right now because it is a completely different ballgame. I mean, to the point where they're like, hey, I did a class on social media and we need to purchase a $3,000 camera with a lens in order for me to get this picture. And it's like,
I thought the iPhone cameras are just as good as the professional cameras.
And like, some of them are like putting effort in, and they don't think that they're good enough to post their stuff.
They do. They question themselves. That was another thing I got. Like,
Right.
that they just don't have the confidence because they know they do good hair. They have the book to show it. They have the clientele. They have it. but their pictures aren't picture perfect. And if there's one little hair out of place, they won't post it because they're afraid of the comments, the ridicule. They're afraid of everything, and it could be the most beautiful hair that they've done.
Yeah.
And they just don't want to be torn apart on social media.
Well, I mean, it goes back to Instagram versus reality. Like, it's
So
bullshit.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
like, whatever post that is, like, you didn't just snap that and upload it.
Yeah.
You know, you snapped it, you edited it, or you took it on, you know, whatever. It's like, there's just so much that goes into it, and it's difficult to navigate. And I honestly
Yeah.
totally understand how that could be something like a major factor in burnout for people.
But in actuality, all that it is really like self-doubt. Like, nobody's gonna comment on your post and be like, "Hey, what's up with that one little hair?" Like, no.
No, they can definitely be
It's
their
in
own
your
worst
head,
enemy
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, mine's a little
Yeah,
bit
what's
different,
yours? What do you got?
but I love this so much. This is like, I think, how I roll in life. So, a wise stylist once told me, if you're tired, you need a vacation. If you're burnout, you need education. I couldn't agree more. I feel like, and this girl, this
a
is
good one.
at Jessica.Marie_stylist. She got mad love on this, and I can totally understand why, because I think it's dead on. You know, like, when you sit down with people, or even myself, you know, like, if I'm feeling tired and exhausted and I need to kind of pull back and go get a vacation, I'm not going to Disney World. I'm going to, you know, wherever.
Con.
Yeah, yeah. But basically, like, to go get a relaxation type situation that's going to allow me to reset mentally, that's a different type of burnout than just being burnout and kind of over the industry and not feeling motivated and excited. And if that's the case, then you need education.
I think a lot of times the word burnout can be used wrong. Like, it can be misconstrued too. Like, I think it's not even necessarily a burnout that they're talking about. It's more of like an uninspired.
Well, that's the thing. I think there's
Yeah.
two different, you know, it's different. You know, it's burnout would be, you know, what you said, and that's probably vacation style.
Yeah.
Take some time off, go reflect, get yourself, you know, in
That's
the
what
right
I think of when I
headspace.
think burnout. I think when a stylist comes to you and tells you they're burnout, it's more of
Yeah.
like, you're just uninspired and in a funk
Yep.
right now.
Lack of passion. You're going to find that by going to, you know, fun industry events or getting some fresh education, hitting an academy, something like that. I feel
Yeah.
like that's where you're going to find that.
Totally agree.
The next post is by Masters of Balayage, and it's, what's your biggest pet peeve in the salon? Tell us everything.
Ooh, this is going to be good.
These are hilarious, by the way. But the one that I feel like I can relate to right now is,
They have almost 1,200 comments on this.
I know, this got like crazy love. This one is simple. Children in the salon, especially the screaming type.
Oh, this hits home. This hits home for me.
Oh, I love it. But it's funny because even the comments on that comment are hilarious. Like, somebody said, maybe you were one of them. Like,
And they're not wrong. They're
I
not
can't.
wrong. You were one of them.
Who cares? Don't bring kids to the salon. Putting their dirty, muddy feet on furniture. This is so funny.
How about the time when we had kids in the salon that were like hanging on the footrests of the chair?
Oh my God. Yeah, that was,
And almost went through the mirror.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's like two sides to this. Like, but you have an opinion on this, which is interesting.
I do.
Because, well, tell us about your opinion.
Well, I'm a mom. I have 5 children, and sometimes like shit happens. Like
Yeah.
your babysitter calls out, and my question, the first thing that pops into my head is, am I better off bringing my kid with me and just make sure I have enough stuff to entertain them, like a coloring book or an iPad, even, I don't care, something that I know, or if it's a baby, like, you know, just try to figure it out. Bring them and not screw the stylist out of a cancellation or a no-show.
Yeah.
Last minute. I mean, what's worse? I mean, it's like,
I know, it's tough.
it's a double-edged sword. It's like I
Yeah.
bring my kid and you're pissed, or I don't show up and you're pissed. It's like, how do you find that?
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just a mom trying to get my freaking hair done, and it's like,
I don't mind the kids. I think it's the lack of like, hey, stop doing that. Like,
Yeah.
and
Awareness,
just letting
like,
your kids
yeah.
like run wild throughout the salon.
and that is a huge thing, and I agree.
Yeah.
And I will be the first one as a mother. If you're letting your kid run around a hair salon, then you should
Right.
never be invited back to that hair salon.
And they can
because-
also get like really hurt. I mean, we're talking
Yeah.
like sharp objects, sharp corners, hot
Yeah.
tools.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that could happen. And if you know, for instance, that you can't control your kid while you're there, then I guess it's better to just not go.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess that mom is not aware that she can't control her kids. I just think she doesn't care. But anyway, this is hilarious because this is bringing me back to like when I first started in the industry, and I was like, right off the press, and basically we worked at a pretty high-end salon.
Your VIP client.
Oh,
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
I would love to see her now.
I
She's
wanna
probably
be
like
her.
she's probably like a CFO. This
oh,
kid.
100%.
Probably.
She's
So anyway.
definitely got a PJ.
This
PJ.
the PJ.
PJ.
Private jet.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know.
This particular mom, I think she's smart as hell looking back on it now. I was annoyed at the time. But basically, she would schedule her appointment for her root touch-up every 3 weeks with one of the top stylists. And she would bring her daughter to me every 3 weeks. I don't even know if it was a trim or a blowout, but basically would just book the kid a service with me.
So you
she was just
babysat?
paying me to babysit, which is like hilarious. But
It's genius,
I
actually.
mean, at least she, the kid was occupied.
I was like, I feel like that kid's in your chair every time I look over at your station. You're like, she is. Well, I
I'm
mean,
her
she
nanny.
had the
I'm her
most
nanny.
pristine Vidal Sassoon precision cut. I mean, her cut was sharp. She probably was an inspiration back then to her classmates.
She was 3.
She didn't have classmates. All right, maybe
Yeah,
you're
that's
different.
why she was with her.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What's
That
yours?
is so funny. Oh, me? Oh, I have a good one. Okay, so this is from Kaylee Marie Lowe. And this only had like 25 comments on it, but I think this is kind of relatable. When clients come extremely early and expect you to take them, or take them then. Sorry about that. I had a client first of the day arrive 30 minutes early and stand by my car after I pulled in and wait for me until I let her in. Then proceeded to try to walk into my suite, go sit at the front. You got 30 minutes, lady. This is my time to set up and get ready for the day.
That came up a lot. Like when I was drifting through those comments, there was a lot of people complaining about people showing up early.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one. I mean, I totally understand her perspective because
Yeah.
essentially she's getting there 30 minutes before she starts. Like she's
Yeah.
prepping for her
That
day,
is her
so it
time
can
to
be
prep.
frustrating.
No, for sure.
But also, I mean, I'd rather them run early than run late.
Yeah. But also, I feel like the expectation, it might be within. Like, I remember when people would come early, I would be like, oh, I'm supposed to eat right now. But then, okay, go eat. It's not an issue. That's just your
Yeah.
problem. You are
Yeah.
feeling that way because that's how you feel. But, and hand it to the suite owners because I feel like that's a whole different beast.
Oh, yeah. They don't really have
They don't
anything.
have a front desk
don't have
to
the
hide.
buffer.
Yeah.
They don't have, really waiting room except for out in the common area.
Right. That's a whole different animal. But like you said, if they're there, I'd rather them be early than late.
Yeah.
And if you want to eat, then eat. Or if you want to set up or do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I feel like they're definitely the entitled people that show up early and they're panting at the front desk and looking over the shoulder to see
yeah.
when they're
That
going to
could
be
be so
taken.
annoying.
But also, I go everywhere I go, I'm early because I want to sit there and I want to go through my emails or I want to just
Yeah.
relax before whatever I'm doing and know that I'm there and I don't have to rush around. So
Yeah.
it could just be that too.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
no pressure. I'm
Yeah.
just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
which
I get an
that's the
extra
truth.
20 minutes to sit here and do nothing.
This is great.
Yeah.
Love this.
Awesome.
Mine is from Christine Maria Hare. People listening to their phone on speakerphone drives me insane. And as
God.
a overstimulated millennial,
Well, I'm not a millennial, but I'm an overstimulated person when it comes to this, too.
oh
I'm-
drives home.
I mean, just sound in general at this point is absolutely detrimental for me. I
Yeah.
just hate it.
I
The other
could
day
be
I was
like-
driving, it was 7 a.m. and a motorcycle pulled up next to me and I was questioning everything about this person's sanity. I was like, how do you listen to that right now? It's 7 a.m. I don't want to listen to that. And I'm in my car with my windows up.
Yeah.
So yes, this whole thing, the worst is when you see people with cell phones tucked into their hats on speakerphone, just weird, no
Oh, my
one needs to
goodness.
hear it.
I've seen this in salons, all different kinds of settings.
Target,
Oh, yes.
get off your phone.
The nail salon, I've been sitting trying to get a pedicure. I got away from my kids. I don't want the noise. Now I have to listen about your story from the weekend over your friend this and your friend that. I don't care. Nobody else cares. Hang it up. Mm-hmm. It's just so disrespectful on so many levels.
Yeah. This happened at our salon when I was in the office. I overheard like it was just like a ringing in my ear of like a speaker just babbling, and I'm like, if this is one of our team members, like I'm gonna lose my mind. So I walk out there.
I'm picturing your blood pressure just rising.
Like the vein in my forehead was fully visible. And I walk out and it's a client like at the dryer, like on the phone, on the speakerphone. And I like look at her and she's like, and I like look around and they're all like, and I like, I couldn't say anything. I feel like today maybe I would have said something, but like if this was probably like 3 years ago.
Oh, I would have turned her dryer off and said, take her early. She's done. Get her out of here. I don't even care what her hair looks like at this
Are
point.
you guys pranking me right now? Like, what is going on?
I swear, some people are just so oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Like, how do they not know
Yeah.
that they're annoying the shit out of everybody around them? How do
Yeah.
you not? How are you that like unaware of your surroundings?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I feel like I just feel bad. My heart goes out to the people who are like paying babysitters to be here to relax, to take, you know, the next hour and a half to just relax. And like you have this person who's completely lacking self-awareness sitting next to you, you know, talking to their best friend about whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even talk to you guys on the phone, let
Yeah.
alone, you know, like.
All right, guys, we got to talk about this one. This one's really good. BehindTheChair.com. Why do I keep saying .com? Anyway, Behind the Chair on Instagram has a post, and it's mass walkouts. What now? So, scrolling through the comments, I found one that I thought was kind of funny. So I'm going to talk about this one. Mass walkouts and high turnovers means the salon owner / management sucks. So I guess you deserve it.
Well, I guess you do.
I mean, and maybe he's got a point.
I kind of agree. I mean, listen, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You
I'm not doubting him. I think that it could be true.
My boy got burnt, man. Somebody hurt him bad.
So I think that this probably happens in a lot of places, though.
Yeah.
Management can really cause a walkout easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's majority of the reason why they happen is just being like, you know, toxic, not having structure,
Yeah.
just shitty leaders.
Yeah, I mean, the presentation on that was a little raw,
I'm here
but
for
I
it.
do think that there's truth behind it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're having a walkout and it's a significant walkout, it's not one person because one person, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying anybody's replaceable because that's not it. But I think that if you have a walkout and you lose 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever it is, people, you got to do some deep self-reflection
Yeah,
and
for
try
sure.
and figure out what you're doing because
Yeah.
ultimately, like, you're leading this ship. And if there's problems, if there's things that are making that many people leave, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and like Kaliki says, you deserve it. So you better figure out what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Bring it back in.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
What do you guys got?
All right. Mine is, I like this one. So this had 30 likes. Walkouts or mass exodus happen for all kinds of reasons. Mostly it's perceived unfairness. Many stylists go through a phase where they start to become successful and then they start to resent the fact that they're giving half their money away.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
Victim mentality.
I know. Wait, hold on.
Victim
no. I gotta
mentality.
be honest here, guys. I thought this. There was definitely, this person's very on. At one point in my life, before I was a salon owner, I definitely thought that there was, you know, it's like I would see the owner roll up in his brand new Maserati and I'm like, must be nice. You took half my, you know, services. Then little things like asking someone not to be late or can you clean your station become an insult. This is very well written. Then the stylist starts to think, oh, I can open my own salon. Then they start whispering. The other reason is a poorly managed salon, no support, always out on products, messed up commissions, no team atmosphere, no appreciation, etc. But the first reason you can't control once the blister forms. But you just have to keep an eye and ear out for the signs of disgruntled employees. They'll stop being chatty. They'll start doing their car to talk on the phone, need more time off or different things, etc. The second point, you'll need to address your own business. So I don't know. I think that one was well written because I do think that's a lot of reasons why people leave.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it is. They think it's ultimately, they think that there's an unfair commission structure. You're taking all my money. And then it stems from there. Once the decision's made or once
Yeah,
the
once that's
little
in their
thought
head.
process happens, then it's like spider veins like my leg. Just
my
like
God.
everything
Well, I think they don't think that way unless they feel like your salon owner isn't holding up their end of the bargain.
True.
Like I feel like that mentality doesn't happen unless there's like, obviously they're disgruntled, like she just said. Mm-hmm. So if you're not providing support for them, that's, the mentality that's going to come from that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think in our area, now that the suites are here, do you think that sparks a little bit more of that little mentality?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Everyone's
But I also
thinking,
think
like, I could do this on my own just so much easier now that I don't have to open my own salon.
Yeah, that is like so jaded though, because I feel like you hear on social media and everywhere like, oh, I'm bringing in like $200,000, but like you're not factoring in the overhead, the taxes, all of the
inventory.
things. Yeah, like
Well, that's what I
everything.
laugh, especially when you just said the taxes. And I'm like, oh, talk to me in April when you get your tax back from your accountant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
right.
much did you really take home?
You're
Yeah.
never gonna get any money back ever again.
But to what she's saying, this is where I feel that as an owner, the owners have a responsibility at this point. And
Yeah.
it's to kind of be transparent with your team about, you don't have to give them your P&Ls. No one needs to see the numbers like that. But I do think being transparent about finances in general, like in budgets and how much, things essentially are costing and inflation now and all of this stuff. Like, it's okay for your team to understand, the cost of doing business at this point. And I think the more that they do understand it, the more they understand the cost of doing business. And essentially it takes away some of the nastiness that you might see or feel that, I
for
look
sure.
back on that and like when I was in that scenario where I had just mentioned at one point, that was definitely my mindset. I was young, immature, and I knew nothing about business, but also I didn't have an owner that was, sharing anything. It was just, we don't even want you to understand your business, let alone mine.
Yeah, right.
And also like investing that money back into the business. So if you're driving a Maserati, but yet you have like, leak marks in your ceilings, like there's a problem there, buddy.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
My my comment is from Hairzilla. Actually met her at a class once. Pretty cool chick. Listen, I disagree with a lot of you. Someone tried to stage a walkout in my salon. I pay for all their training, customize their education, career paths for their lives. We're closed on weekends. I cater all their events so no one gets hangry. Everyone's paycheck is always right. They're guaranteed hourly pay. They get vacation, sick days. I'm not a micromanager, and I have a reflective aspect. I have 4 coaches to make sure I'm surrounded by positive people.
Shout out to Hairzilla.
Yeah, is she hiring?
Yeah, right? Yeah, she's basically says that she's not having people do chores. Treats them like 14 karat gold. I agree that you should look within when things like this happen, get information and collect data, but it's not always you. Anyway, I have she has a podcast also, so check that out.
Well, if you're in her area and you're not applying in her salon, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. But I think the key takeaway here is, and it's something that I kind of struggle with, I think this, as an owner, the second that you accept the fact that you're going to lose people regardless of what you're doing, and your job is to figure out why, was it their, growth, what they wanted to do and grow bigger than what you're providing them? Or was it something that you could actually change for them? And I feel like having an exit interview, regardless of like how you feel about it, is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can be, sometimes tough conversations to hear, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
You have to hear it.
And also, like, sometimes, and I'm not saying this is this scenario because I'm assuming there's a lot more detail into what happened here, but sometimes it's just not a good fit, you know? Or they, they're going off to pursue something else, and like you said, like you just have to accept that, like that's all right, like you don't want to be here, or you have a different plan in place, then it is what it is. I mean, we were a part of a walkout. Let's mention that. And I opened
Alicia's
a
like,
salon.
I really wasn't until I got fired.
I kind of was forced to be included.
I had to
in the
join
walkout,
that
which is
walkout.
cool with me. I mean,
But I mean, let's talk about that a little bit because it's the truth. Like the way that all went down was definitely a learning moment for me as an owner. I started to look at the situation different. And if it were me, how would I handle this? I was 26 years old, decided to open a salon, went and signed the papers. Lunatic. Like, had no idea what the hell I was doing. And if I did, I can't say I would have done it. I'm happy I did. At that point, yes, I looped in a few of my friends onto what I was going to be doing. I wasn't pressuring anybody to come. But eventually, when it got out that I was doing this, everybody got phone calls within like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And everyone's fired,
Yeah.
you know? And that was like complete kind of opposite of how I would have handled it, I think.
Yeah.
Now.
I think when these types of things happen, it's really important to think about how you're going to react, because you're like under a microscope, and it really is going to determine how the next few months are going to go.
For sure.
Like the way that the reaction from that situation was probably not ideal.
It was ideal for me because it gave us our dream team. So
That's true.
But I
I'm
think
just
about
gonna
like the
thank
people
them now.
on the team, and it was like, okay, these people are gone, and basically focusing on them and why they opened the salon, and the email that was sent out like explaining that we were like, you know, toxic. And
Oh, I know. I'm sure it was so hurtful in that moment for everybody. I saw it when I came here. And I saw everybody gathered and everyone was crying because they just got fired. And the one owner didn't even know the one girl's name right. He was calling her the wrong name. Like, it was just such chaos in that moment. And for an owner to not sit back instead of react right away, I mean, that in itself is, you need to go back and get some leadership skills, bud.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I think as an owner, you need to be prepared for it.
And, you know, find takeaways. There's always, I mean, I'm not saying there's always silver lining, but there's always something to be learned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lessons to be learned for sure.
Absolutely. Well, that was fun. I really liked this
Yeah, I liked it
format.
too.
All right, so
I like it.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was fun to kind of break it down, keep it fun.
Yeah.
If you're interested in us doing it again, drop a comment. We'll keep breaking them down for you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Hit like, hit subscribe, and see you soon.